I'm Trevor Babb with the Contemporary Guitar Blog, and my special guest today, joining me from Italy, is the great Sergio Sorrentino, who has been a force of nature promoting repertoire for the electric guitar with countless recordings out. And he is joining me here today to talk about his latest release, Sunrise Italian Music for Electric Guitar Volume 1. We'll talk a little bit about, what subsequent volumes might look like. But thank you so much, Sergio, for sitting down and talking with me today.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so um, just to kind of get into it, I mean, we've got a lot of music on this record. I'm not sure that we'll be able to cover it all here in the time that we have, but you've got a number of different composers that you're working with here, um, from all over Italy, it looks like. Talk a little bit about your relationships with some of these people, how you know them, how you kind of got to work with them. I'm sure there's a different story with each one. Um, and what caused these pieces to come about, if they were commissions, if it was, some of these are rearrangements of existing works. So just talk a little bit about who these composers are. I know here in America we don't hear a lot from Italian composers that are alive right now, and so I think that for at least my American audience and probably many others, a lot of these names are going to be very new for us. So let's get into it and just talk about these great people that you're working with.
Yes, my idea was to put together the composers I like. I like a lot of their music, and so I asked to them to write for guitar. With some of them, I have a great friendship during the years. They wrote me classical guitar pieces in the past. So I decided to ask them uh, a new challenge to write for a new instrument. They didn't know about electric guitar composition, but I helped them to enter into this new world. The first one of this album is Nicola Sani. It's a great Italian composer. He wrote a lot of music for ensemble, for orchestra, and he has a lot of operas and performance all over the world, in Japan, in Germany, and also in the United States, and is known also as an art director. He's the director of the Kijana Academy. And in these days, he is going very well. He's making new things in the Kijana Academy. The percussion class, the new percussion class, Steve Reich music or Terry Riley music in the Kijana Academy. So Nicola is a great composer and is a great director. Um, and he wrote a piece for classical for four classical guitars in the 90s. I discovered this piece and I asked to Nicola if I could record it with electric guitars. And he allows me to do that, and we worked together on this new composition, and I'm very happy of this track because it's I like very much Nicola's style because the sonic research is very deep, is very profound, and it's very and it's right for our instrument. And so Le corde di un tempo, it's the name of the piece. uh, I think it's a great gift for electric guitar repertoire. The second track is one of my composition. I would like to include also a short piece, a minimal piece with patterns and simply
Hmm.
piece to create a sort of prelude or interlude between Nicola Sani and the other piece. It's Marco Simoni, another composer, Italian composer. He's from Tuscany, Lucca, and he wrote this piece based on "So What" by Miles Davis.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very
So
obvious right from the beginning. I remember listening to it and I was like, oh, this is what this
so
is.
yes, he joined together Gregorian chant and "So What" by Miles Davis. So the two great model worlds.
Yeah.
The patterns. Also, he asked me to achieve a clean sound with some reverb to recreate a sort of ancient world. And I like very much the the fusion between the music of our days and the past.
Yeah.
Uh, this
That
this
seems to be a
happened.
very common thing that we see in new music, kind of this sort of
Yes,
old
yes.
music, new music intermingling, right?
Also, I like very much the fusion of new music and traditional music, folk music.
Hmm.
And Italy has a great tradition of, especially the south of Italy, has a great tradition of folk music, of tarantelle, villanelle,
Hmm.
ancient chants, serenate, uh, played with a lot of strange instruments,
Yeah.
ancient instruments, like zampogna,
Hmm.
etc., etc., charamella. And I was born near Naples, in the south of Italy. My town is called Polla, and Polla is in the region of Naples, Campania, but it's between Campania and Basilicata, Lucania. Lucania has a great tradition of ancient music, ancient songs. And I asked to Carla Rebora and Andrea Talmelli and also Marcela Pavia to write new pieces for electric guitar inspired by some ancient songs. So Carla wrote Canti Intrecciati, and she took some small patterns of the songs. I gave her some ancient songs, and she wrote a very soft piece with delays.
Hmm.
Um, I love the way she wrote melodically for guitar. Andrea, of course, the same thing. Cardamo la lana is an ancient song, is an ancient work song of south of Italy, and he did very well. The he wrote I think very well the idea of the work songs, of the work song transposed on the electric guitar.
Hmm.
So I'm very happy about this piece. And Marcela Pavia, She is a Italian Argentinian
Mm.
composer, but she decided to not quote the melodies of the songs, but only to take some patterns, some intervals, to play with the semitones, half tones,
Mhm.
and in a sort of experimental way. Um, and then other composers, there are also two other great Italian composers. Paolo Longo, he is also a great conductor, orchestra conductor, and he wrote for me this piece because it was a commission during a festival in Torino, and he wrote Monologo Settimo, and I discovered after during the rehearsals of the piece that he was inspired by some patterns of Hasta Siempre by Carlos Puebla, and
Mm.
so it was very funny to discover a sort of political friendship or cultural
Mm.
friendship between us. And I played the world premiere was in Torino, but the second performance I played this piece in second performance in La Habana, during the Festival of Contemporary Music of Havana. It was great to play this piece in Cuba. And then Giorgio Colombo Taccani wrote his first piece for electric guitar, dedicated to me. And this piece is it's inspired to Lovecraft world, and he took some patterns also of Jethro Tull songs, but he wrote a, a completely different piece. And I think that he used very well effects like distortion, like
Mhm.
octaver, like the one bar, um, also a sort of delay or loop
Yeah.
station in some points. I think it's a very good piece. And the last composer of the track list is Carlo Boccadoro, a great conductor and composer, Italian composer. He worked with David Lang, with Gavin Bryars, with Philip Glass, with Michael Nyman, and he writes book, and so is it's a very important musician in the Italian
Mhm.
scene, and and he wrote pieces for classical guitar. And I asked to Carlo if I could work about on sort of electric version, and he said yes. And I worked on a version with an archtop guitar, an Ibanez
Mm.
hollow body guitar
Yeah.
with some Leslie pedal, Leslie effect, and so it was funny, and I like very much because there are some episodes that I think that works very well on the electric instruments, like the episode with the
Mm.
percussion on the fingerboard. With the electric guitar, we can listen to a lot of overtones.
Yeah.
Um, and also the pizzicato episode, the pizzicato piece is, I think it works very, very well on the electric guitar. So it's an album very with different tracks and different genres and different sound, a lot of different
Yeah.
sounds. Uh, I think it's not my sound, my personal sound, but I changed my sound to help the tracks and the thoughts of the composers.
Right.
Also, and there is also another piece, Sweep, by Salvatore Frega. Is a young Italian composer, and he's doing very well also on social media. Is well known in Italy, and he usually writes for orchestra and ensembles. And he gave me this piece, and we worked together on different timbres, different sounds, ring modulator, pitch shifters. So uh, we we had fun together to find the new sounds, and his piece is going very well on Spotify. We have already 2,000 streams. for for a contemporary music piece is very, very strange. It's very unusual.
Yeah, I have to say, I am really impressed with the amount of an audience that you get on Spotify, um, with the music that you do. I think I saw like when I actually looked the album up, I saw like Sergio Sorrentino has like 25,000 monthly listeners or something like that. Now it's just like unheard of, I think, for people like us to have that much of a following. What do you think is you know going on there? Um, what about, I mean, certainly you have a lot of material out there, and that must be part of it because just sheer volume, is going to beget more listeners. But what else is going on that's been the secret to your success of reaching a wide audience on Spotify?
Uh, I think two things. The first one is the variety of my album. I have classical guitar albums like Silvano Bussotti guitar solo music, other pieces by Maderna or others. Um, but I have also ambient albums
Mm-hmm.
like Vignette, the duet with Machine Fabrique. He's a great electronic composer. Um, so Vignette uh, heard a lot of success, and I think that this fact opened some doors.
Mm-hmm.
Then also my duet album with Elliot Sharp, John King, and other guitarists is going very, very well. Not a lot of streams, but I think I reached with each album I reached a small part of the audience. But the very important thing was the collaboration with Philip Glass,
Do you
because
think a lot of the ambient music that you're doing is kind of getting playlisted on sort of like chill out, listen to music while you work kind of playlists? Do you think that's also going on, that you're, this sort of like more minimal material that some of the music that you've recorded is, do you think that that's getting co-opted by this sort of like, playlist mentality of like minimal music as wallpaper to listen to so that you can focus while you work or while you study or something like that.
Yes, I think playlists are very helpful.
Hmm.
And but the important thing are the editorial playlist by
Yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah.
And I went I was included in the first time I was included in a editorial playlist was with Feldman, with
Mm,
my Mode Record CD, with possibility of the of
yeah.
electric guitar piece. So Feldman reached the 40,000 streams. Eh,
That's a lot.
so yes, and then my version of Dream by Cage reached a lot of streams, and also David Lang piece, and also Jack V's piece
Oh,
reached a lot of streams. And Jack, the Jack V's track was included also in a private playlist, but with a lot of followers,
yeah.
a sort of ambient and
Hmm.
re- relaxing
Yeah, that's the
playlist.
minimal new music as wallpaper kind of thing.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and but I think the most important thing in the 2021 was the collaboration with Philip Glass,
Yeah.
because it allows me to reach a large audience. And
So let's talk about that a little bit more. What is the nature of your work with Philip Glass right now, and um, what does that look like?
uh, I love Philip Glass music. I love his orchestra pieces, his early ensemble pieces of the 60s. So I decided to play and record some pieces with the electric guitar, but with clean electric guitar, with clean sound, of course. Um, so I did a proposal, and the his label, Orange Mountain Music, decided to ask me a video for the Glass Minutes series, uh, but a short video. So I did a version of Orpheus Bedroom. Is a piece written by Glass for piano. It was included in his opera Orphée, based on a Jean Cocteau movie. Uh, the opera is from the 90s. Um, and I decided that this piece could work very well on the electric guitar, on the hollow body guitar. And I recorded this video with Orpheus Bedroom. I sent this video to Richard Guerin, the the chief, the president of this label, of the Glass label. He liked very much my video, and so I think also with allowed with by Philip Glass, they published the video on Glass social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and they saw that video earned a lot of success, a lot of views, 20,000 views in a week. So, and they decided to make to propose me a single, to release a single. So they in January they released the Orpheus Bedroom single, uh, and, and this single uh, is earning a lot of success because um, today we have reached almost 160,000 streams on Spotify. Um, and they are very happy for this. So they, they are very happy, and uh, they would like to produce another a whole album, a larger project with me, but next year.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that people listen to Orpheus Bedroom by Glass, and maybe they are curious to listen also to my track, to my tracks, to Feldman, to
Yeah.
an Italian composer, to Bussotti. Maybe they don't like the other track, but they listen.
Hmm.
So I think that uh, it's very important to have a single that open some doors.
Yeah. That's great.
Uh, it's not simple because you had to record the right single with the right
Right.
sound. There is no secrets. I think that Philip Glass has reasons when he says that there is no secrets, only to get up in the morning and work and
Hmm.
work and study, and
Yeah.
maybe one day something happens.
Yeah. So, while we're talking about, kind of your recording output at large and how that's all worked, um, I mean, you've got probably like, what, like 15 full length albums and a number of singles that you've uploaded to Spotify. You have a ton of recordings right now, that you've put out over the years. Some years you've put out multiple recordings in one year. Um, what does recorded music mean for you in this, you know, age that we live in where most people aren't purchasing recordings anymore? They're paying, a monthly fee to have access to everything, right? Um, so what does the recording mean for you in this economic environment that we live in, and how are you set up to put out so many recordings when, recordings can be incredibly expensive to make? So let's talk a little bit just about the economics of things, and, what does recorded music mean in the age of streaming?
I think it's for now it's the most important thing.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, we are in during the COVID era,
Yeah.
so of course, but I think in generally we need to record the pieces because live concerts are great, are wonderful. It's wonderful to have direct contact with the audience, to feel their feelings, their thoughts. It's great to communicate during the concert with the audience. But I think especially for our repertoire, the electric guitar repertoire, it's a very young
Yeah.
repertoire, and I think it's very important to record all the pieces we have, all the pieces, because we have to sign the path of the future, for the future generation, for the future electric guitarists. Um, because I noticed that some guitarists played one piece for electric guitar. Some classical guitarist occasionally plays Vampire, no,
Yeah.
by Muriel, and or electric counterpoint,
Yep.
and stop.
The hits.
So they didn't know anything about I don't know, Malcolm Fox,
Hmm.
Gavin Bryars,
Yeah.
Feldman.
And
They
those are
didn't
like
know.
our earliest pieces as far as solo electric guitar work goes. I mean, those three that you just threw out right there, I remember presenting a concert a few years ago where those three composers, along with a few others, it was like, and it was presented as like, this is the music that we have from like our earliest stage of like solo music for electric guitar. And it's some of the wackiest stuff that we have, actually.
So I think that it's very, very, very important to record those pieces. I recorded also Yuasa piece. I recorded.
You're going to have to send me a score for that, by the way. I've been trying to
Oh
track
yeah,
that
oh yeah,
piece down for
yeah,
years.
yeah. Uh, s- and I think it's very important also for my music, the music I compose, the ambient music or
Hmm.
free music. It's important to fix the music into a project. It's important to be visible and available to the audience.
Yeah.
I think we don't have the audience of Billie Eilish, but we have one. We have a small one, but we have to to be visible and available to the guys.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh, that's why I wrote also my book about electric guitar repertoire, because I
Hmm.
think it's important to also to teach this kind of repertoire
Yeah.
also to my students, and explain that from Feldman to Reich there are a lot of great music. It's
Yeah.
not
Totally.
all great music, of course, but we have a huge world for now. It's a young repertoire, but it's important to I think to let mm, to let it grow and let it known well known to a larger audience.
Yeah.
uh, as for my equipment, I record in my house
I figured you
always,
must.
because
There's so
it's
many.
it's impossible to pay studio recording. um, I I use the studio recording only for my classical guitar
Yeah.
recording, Bussotti or the other ones, because I think it's important to have the right studio, the right also
The
small reverb
space
of the
is
studio.
so
Yes,
important to classical guitar, where
exactly.
you need to have the right acoustic, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it's difficult to find the right studio recording,
Yeah.
I think. But for the electric guitar, I record by myself, and during the years, I learn. I'm learning about mastering,
Hmm.
mixing, and editing. Uh, for now, it's the most important thing. I
Yeah.
think I'm studying the right way to make the master and the other thing.
And that's something that the pandemic has made so much of us really keen to, I think, because most of us are creating music at home. And so, we're researching microphones and buying microphones. Microphones have become just like this huge industry because of the pandemic. And we are,
Yes.
you know, getting to know like, how do I work with, recording on my computer in my house, and um, what do I need to know in order to produce stuff? And So I think that we're going to have this new wave of musicians who are very technically savvy that we haven't really seen before, especially in classical music, right? Um, Coming out of this. And I think it's going to really revolutionize the way that we make music and disseminate music. Um, let's jump back over to Sunrise for a little bit. We have two pieces on this record that were originally written for classical guitar or classical guitars that you have,
Yes.
you know, taken up and transferred them over to the electric guitar. How easily did these pieces translate from one instrument to another? I mean, generally, like we're playing the same instrument, but the way that we produce sound, the way that we approach the instruments, even just our touch on the string really changes a lot between classical guitar and electric guitar. So just talk a
Mhm.
little bit about, the process of transferring a solo classical guitar piece or even a classical guitar quartet to electric guitar.
I think that the more natural piece for this transformation was the Boccadoro piece, because Boccadoro piece is for classical guitar, but it use different techniques like pizzicato, like the hitting with the fingers on the fingerboard. So percussion, pizzicato, and especially the first and the last movements are monodic, so are very fast and monodic. So
One note at a
I
time,
decided,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I used a Leslie effect because I like it very much, but I think that it allows to the guitars to the guitars to reach a more legato sound for these fast movements. Um, and the decisions of using a hollow body was very simple, and hollow body and classical guitar are very similar. So this piece uh, was the more natural piece for this transformation.
So you were
Uh,
mostly doing what you would normally do on a classical guitar, but kind of changing up the sound with pedals and maybe making some adjustment for some of the extended techniques. But for the most part, it translated very
Yeah,
easily, it sounds like.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. And pickups helped me to reach overtones and other timbrical stuff. So and the other one was not difficult, but me and the composer Nicola Sani, uh, we did a different version because we thought also about the possibility to play it in concert with one guitarist and the three guitars in the backing track as a tape, so like a sort of electric counterpoint. And the middle section is very similar. The classical version is very similar to the electric version, but the work that we did it's about the first section, the with the harmonics, and they spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time to reach the right sound, the right harmonics, the right series of harmonics, because each guitar has a string and has to reach overtones, harmonics, so um, the writing this piece, this sections was very difficult, but I think that now works very well. And uh, Nicola, I think that Nicola is uh, it's kind of a genius, because he studied guitars in the early age, and he's very smart to understand the right sound also on the electric guitar. And so it helps me very much to do the right recording. So the process is very difficult uh, to put on the electric guitar classical guitar pieces, but I think it's a very good challenge. No, it's and now we are very happy for the results. So
And so this other piece is a quartet. Do you have any ambitions to do this with three other people on electric guitars live someday?
yeah,
I know
would
you
be
do.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now it's difficult. So
yeah, I'm sure it would be difficult, but so this is volume one, right? So is there a volume two in the works? Do you have any information on that? What we might be able to expect from a volume two, and when we might be seeing it?
I for the volume two, I'm still waiting for the new pieces.
Okay.
I asked to so I asked to some other composer to write for me. There will be Lucio Gregoretti, there will be Andrea Valle, Andrea Manzoli, a lot of other Italian great composers of
Hmm.
Suvini Zerboni editions or other publishers. But for now, it's in standby, because I have to wait the new pieces. I have to study the new pieces
Yeah.
and make the recording. So
But you've
I
already
hope,
got composers writing, right, like putting ink to paper, right? Or
yes,
yeah.
I hope in next autumn.
Okay. Very cool.
Mm.
And we have another release on the horizon for you. You have this new single from David Lang coming out very soon. Let's talk a little bit about what that is going to look like. What's the piece? Is it new? Is it old? Is it an arrangement? Was it originally electric guitars? And when's it coming out?
Okay, I in the past I recorded Warmth by
I
David
I think I
Lang,
know that piece.
and also you did a great recording of this piece. So and during the first lockdown last year in
Hmm.
April, I think March, April,
March, April,
March,
maybe a little
April,
earlier even in Italy.
March,
Yeah.
March, and in April, I read that David Lang wrote a piece for 100 guitars, classical guitars, or
I didn't know about this.
yeah, questionnaire is the piece, the name of the piece for Brooklyn school.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Yeah.
so I'm real workaholic. So during the lockdown, it was a tragedy for me.
Uh-huh.
And, eh, so I did the duet album So Far So Close with Elliot Sharp, with
Mm.
John King and the other. I make some other recording, but uh, I was need another piece to recording, and I asked to David if he liked a guitar, an electric guitar recording of this piece, and he said yes, but he warned me about the difficulty of the piece, because the piece consists in a questionnaire that asks questions,
Okay.
and guitars play their personal answers.
Oh, this classic David.
It's- he's a genius,
Yeah, he's
and
great. I love
he's
David.
so and but the problem that he was that he said to me, you have to make the real answers, each answers. So I sent this questionnaire. I think that are 100 questions or less, to my students, to my guitar friends,
Mm.
composers that plays guitars, and they send me back their answers. And I played each answers, and I played more than 40 electric guitars over that. So my my MacBook was
On fire.
yeah. um, and I now I need the voice, the questioner, and I, I don't have uh, I couldn't record the voice by myself.
Mhm.
So I asked my wife. My wife is Polish, but she's a very good English pronunciation. So I asked to my wife, and during the lockdown, we recorded this piece. And so questionnaire start with, what is your name? And then guitars. And questionnaire, please spell your first name.
That's so
Da-ding.
funny.
Yes, and my wife recorded a lot of times. What is your name? What is your because I would like to find the right what is your name. So, but we had a lot of great time together because David was very very kind to help us during the recording. So I sent him some samples, and he wrote suggestions, thoughts, and so was very great. And now I decided to not including this piece in a whole album, a few next album, but to release it as a single,
Yeah.
because it's I think that it's a unique piece, and it needs a special
Yeah.
moment for it.
So when are we going to
uh,
be able to hear it?
March 12th.
Okay, so coming up soon.
Yes, on Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, and all digital platforms. And then, so I hope that audience will like the piece, because it's a great piece.
Yeah.
It's a very new piece, and I think it's a sort of sound installation atmosphere, and the audience. I think that audience has to listen to it with headphones,
Hmm.
like a sort of ASMR of with relaxing, but also is meditative. And her voice, David asks that the voice had to be without any inflection, like a sort of psychiatrics. So it's very.
Can't wait to hear it. Well, thank you so much, Sergio, for sitting down and talking with me today. Sergio's new album, Sunrise Italian Music for Electric Guitar Volume 1, is out on Spotify now. And keep an eye out
Thank
for his
you.
new David Lang single being released on March 12th. Thanks so much, Sergio.
Thank you. Thank you so much.